If you're building cosplay on a budget, tools matter way more than people actually think. And today, I'm sharing 5 cosplay tools that I actually use that are under $50. And this video is not sponsored. It's not just a bunch of trendy tools that I found online. These are tools I've actually used and have a lot of experience using that have made my crafting experience better. And some of these aren't even for cosplay. They're just random tools that are applied and work well with cosplay. So let's get to it. The first tool on this list isn't even made for foam. I believe it's made for paper, and it's this Mr. Pen circle cutter. I saw Rage Gear Props use this on an Instagram reel, I think, a while ago, and I thought, huh, it looks pretty good when he used it, so I gave it a shot, and it turned out to be one of the best circle cutters I've ever used. Way better than just a straight blade or even using a sharpened pipe. This knocks it out of the water. You still definitely can just use a straight cutting blade to cut a circle out and Dremel it down, or just use a pipe, but with one of these at a price of around $15, it's kind of a steal, and especially because they're just so consistent and they're so smooth. If you don't want to have to sand anything, or if you really need a nice hard edge, definitely get one of these. I lost the cap for this a while ago, so I just started putting a piece of foam there so I didn't prick my fingers. But yeah, Con Crunch will do that. And since we were just talking about cutting up foam, I thought, why not go on to my favorite type of knives? This one seems obvious, but if you use a tool on every single build, it's worth investing in a good version, right? So my go-to is this Olfa snap blade. It's really well built, it's small, it's comfortable, it's simple. And I've had this older one for just over 10 years. Actually, I have another one. I'm gonna grab that real quick. I actually didn't think that this first one would last as long as it did, and I misplaced it at the time, so I bought another one. And then I immediately found my original, so then I just stopped using this new one. But they both held up really well over time. And there's only a very small difference that I actually can't even tell. I thought this was damaged. Is it? I don't even know. But these are my favorite. But yeah, these are great. They come with a, this little back end is what you use to snap the blades off if you're the type of person to snap them off. I typically don't, and I just sharpen up the blade until I really need a sharp pointed end, and then maybe I'll snap a blade off, but there's really no need to cut your blades up. If this ever breaks, I'm just gonna buy the same one again, because over the years, this has been my favorite type of knife. All right, so the next tool is hands down my most favorite recommendation to anyone that does foam work or anyone that's new to foam work. And as a major bonus, it is ridiculously inexpensive. So if you didn't know, blades like this are dulled by foam really, really easily. 1 or 2 passes through some foam will instantly dull the blade and make it so that it's not cutting at its maximum ability. So if you want clean cuts, you'll definitely need a sharpener. I've tried a lot of different options over the years and had a lot of different recommendations sent my way, but this one that I found myself is still definitely my favorite. It is very simple and it is very simply made, but it is good enough to the point where I will choose this over any other sharpener any day. My favorite part about this sharpener is that there's a large handle that you can put your entire hand on, and there's even a part to choke up your fingers so that when you are sharpening, there's a clear division of where you will be sharpening versus where your hand is. So even if you're not paying attention, which you should be paying attention, but at least you don't have to worry about your knife slipping towards your fingers, because even if it does and you sharpen, it'll be caught by this huge ridge here. So I will often just be flicking it away, sharpening it as fast as I can, mainly because you need to sharpen a lot when you're cutting with foam. So having a sharpener that allows you to sharpen quickly and develop muscle memory while also feeling safe is really, really important to me, at least. And it really speeds up the entire foam cutting process. This is even more important when I'm near the end of a build session and I'm already getting tired, but because I know that if I'm tired and I have the muscle memory of sharpening in a smooth motion, I won't end up being too tired to pay attention and then cut my hand by accident, because it will get caught on any of these plastic parts before it even gets to my hand. Definitely snag this one. This is probably the newest tool that I've started using on my list, but it is still one that I definitely swear by. Plastic calipers. So these are inexpensive plastic calipers, and they're really dinky. You can bend them, they're very flexy. They rattle a bit when you shake them, but you don't need very expensive calipers when you're working with foam because you don't need the mechanical precision that it takes to design something out of metal, right? It's essentially just a ruler that has an extra function. I use these constantly when I'm doing foam work, especially when I'm doing armor, because I can use it to get measurements of my body, like the space between my knuckles or how long my finger is. It just makes it easier when you have these extra contact points. And especially when I'm working with foam scraps, sometimes my foam scrap bin is just full of different thicknesses of foam and different sizes. This makes it way easier to size things up, know what I'm working with, and recycle those pieces efficiently. And this was the cheapest thing on the list. You could probably buy a set of 2 of these for less than $10. And I think that's a steal. When I'm designing patterns and I'm doing foam smithing, these save so much time, they reduce recuts, and they make everything line up just that much cleaner. And the last tool on this list is this really, really tiny pattern notcher. I really love this thing just because it saves me so much strain on my hands and my arms whenever I'm going through and designing and making patterns, especially for foam, mainly for foam. But it only does one thing, and it's just, you just notch the foam. That's all you do. Let me get a piece of paper to show you how simple and dumb this is. So all it does is that. And you probably didn't even see it because it was so tiny, but if you look closely, that little cut, that's all it does. It can't even do that in the middle of the paper. It only does it right there on the edge. And you might be thinking, why would I spend any money on just a small little tool that does that? Well, when you're making an entire set of armor and each piece has 5 to 10 registration marks, that adds up fast. That can easily turn into over 100 registration marks that you have to cut out. But if you don't have this little pattern notcher and you're going in and you're cutting out every single one of those little notches with 2 full pulls with your knife, that gets way more tiring than if you were just closing your hand a little bit, like that. That's a nice sound. Wait, give that a listen. Maybe satisfying, maybe not, I don't know. And because of this small little tool right here, I am so glad that I never have to cut out any of those little marks ever again by hand. And those are some of my favorite tools that I use for crafting all the time. You don't need a $500 workshop to make good cosplay. You just need the right tools and to use them consistently. All of these tools are under $50, and all of them earn their place in my workshop. And if you want to pick up any of these tools, I'll leave the link down in the description for you so you can get them nice and easy. They're not affiliate links because I don't know how to set that up, nor do I know if I can, but they're down there either way, just so that you don't have to go looking for them. And also so that I can give you the best deal that I can find. If this video was helpful at all, go ahead and leave a like down below and maybe even subscribe. I do think that I'm going to make this a series going forward, so if you want to see the next episode of these 5 useful tools under $50, go ahead and subscribe down below. Or if you want to see something else, like possibly my vlogs, go ahead right there and watch the vlogs in the vlog playlist. And let me know down in the comments what your favorite cosplay tool is, because there's a lot of them out there and I would love to add a couple new ones to my workshop. But until next time, keep crafting.